Hi guys, it's Joy and welcome back to my channel. So last week I shared a little birthday vlog with you guys. Birthdays definitely have me feeling a little bit more reflective, so I thought it might be fun to do a bit of a more chatty, talkative video and just discuss the life lessons I've learned over the years. So in this video I will be sharing the 24 things I've learned in 24 years. Let's jump into it. Okay, so I'm starting it off with the number one lesson I feel like I've learned most recently or just been thinking about a lot lately, and it is don't neglect your hobbies. A friend recently said to me a quote that I've actually never heard before, and it's boredom is the devil's workshop. Being in your 20s and fresh out of college, it's really hard to have hobbies because there's just this expectation to adult right away, and I think it's super easy for people just to forget that it's important to do things that you enjoy for fun that you're not necessarily good at either. I remember meeting someone and they asked me what do I do for fun, like what are my hobbies, and this was like a year or two ago, and my response was literally no idea. I don't know, I like to eat food. Like I didn't know what my hobbies were. So I feel like within the last year or so I've really been just going back to my roots and figuring out, okay, what are things I used to enjoy in high school and early childhood. I used to enjoy a lot of photography. I explored a lot of video creation in college, and I wasn't necessarily doing that in my job even though I work in that type of industry, and so that's something I wanted to connect with again. Even just doing these YouTube videos as a hobby, I feel so much happier and I'm more focused on my own happiness rather than other people and entertaining myself through what's going on in other people's lives. That one deserved a little bit more time to talk about, but let's just get through the next one because we have 23 more to go through. Number 2, someone who's going to celebrate your wins with you is a huge part in having a healthy relationship. Whether it's romantic relationship, friendship, family, whatever it is. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people out there who aren't going to be happy for you when you get a promotion or when you get in a relationship or things are just going your way. They might be a good friend, let's say, if you are really struggling in your life. They'll be there for you, they'll be supportive of you, but for some reason there could be some sort of jealousy or resentment. It really, I think, comes from just projecting someone else's insecurities, but if someone makes you almost feel bad for sharing exciting information or they make fun of it in a way, it's really just because they aren't happy themselves. Maybe that is something someone might want to work through in a friendship, but for me and where I am at in my life, I don't think it's necessary to keep up with friendships or relationships that bring that type of negativity. Number 3, friendship is a two-way street. When you're in your 20s, people have a lot going on. It's hard to keep in touch with old friends, and that is totally okay. I love having those friendships where you just pick up where you left off and it doesn't matter how much time has gone by. But I think it is important that just like with a romantic relationship, it can't just be one person pursuing the other and not getting anything back. The same thing goes for friendship. 2 people have to put an effort to communicate. 2 people have to reach out and try to make plans, and it can't just fall on one person. That is something I have really struggled with in friendships, where I used to be the one reaching out a lot first because I understand that people get busy, and that's something I honestly don't mind doing. If you have a friend where you know if you don't reach out, you'll never hear from them again, like ever,
Aww.
I'm not sure if it's fair to put all that on you in the friendship. Number 4, communication takes a lot of work, but is necessary, and no one can read your mind. This has been something that's taken me years to learn, and yes, a lot of things are common sense, but really there's no harm in communicating your feelings. It's a learning curve for everyone. Not everyone is taught to communicate and be in touch with their emotions. So it's as simple as don't expect anyone to read your mind. Say what you want to say. Of course, it's important to communicate things kindly, but also don't be afraid to say how you feel. Number 5, everything is healthy in moderation. I feel like this is pretty straightforward, but it goes for a lot of things. I have spent a lot of time focused on just work. That's not necessarily healthy because it's all about a balance. I've spent a lot of time just focused on working out, and that's not healthy because there needs to be a balance once again. Same thing goes for food and treating yourself. You do not have to restrict yourself from all the things you love, whether that is coffee or having a drink or going out and buying some sweet treats after dinner. You do not have to restrict yourself because life is supposed to be enjoyable. However, everything is healthy in moderation. Am I going to drink 5 glasses of wine every single night? No, that's not really for me, and I don't think that would be a healthy decision. But if I'm going out to dinner and I want to treat myself to a little drink, why not? Life is supposed to be enjoyed. Number 6 is in regards to motivation. It is extremely helpful just to have small goals in order to stay motivated. I used to have really big, unrealistic goals for my New Year's resolutions. Let's say maybe one year I said I want to become an influencer overnight and have 1 million followers on TikTok. That is not realistic for a lot of people, but now I approach my goals differently. I start out with something more small, like I want to try posting every day or learn how to edit my videos on Premiere. And when I am able to check off these smaller goals, it helps me feel super accomplished, but I can also create more goals and more goals after that, and in the long run that will help you hit that end goal that you're dreaming of. It's just a matter of taking small steps. Number 7, change is okay. This one is just pretty straightforward. In your 20s, there is a lot of changes happening, whether it's where you live, who you're friends with, what your job is. Everything can be very scary, but change isn't necessarily a bad thing. It just means you're starting a new chapter, and change is totally okay and it's normal. Number 8 is different friendships can serve different purposes. For this one, I think not all friendships are supposed to last forever, and you can have different friends for different chapters of your life. Maybe you have one friend that's great in a working environment but not necessarily outside of that, and that is okay and normal. Maybe you have a childhood friend that you know you're always going to have each other's backs, but that doesn't mean you have to talk every day. There can be so many different levels of friendships, and that is the beautiful thing about friendships, is that different friends will be there for you in different ways. And I feel like as soon as you accept that different friends are great for different things, it can bring you a lot of peace. 9, you are always going to be your biggest critic. My biggest hater is probably me sometimes because I have a lot of high expectations for myself. I'm really hard on myself, and I think a lot of people are like that. So I just try to remind myself, would I say the things I'm saying to myself to other people? No, I would never say mean things to someone else. So why would I talk to myself like that? That is a really big lesson I have been trying to grow from. Number 10, action can only come from you to change your own life. I have had a past friendship where this person has had a few struggles going on in their life and they weren't happy with where they were at. Of course, I would be frustrated for them and offer them advice on how to get out of their situation. And you know, it sucks. You never want to see a friend unhappy, but if it becomes a pattern where this friend is unhappy no matter what is going on with their life and they don't want to take advice, you have to realize that action can only come from them. I became a lot more at peace when I realized this person is never going to take my advice, and you can only try to help someone so much, but it really comes from themselves if they want to live the life that they're living. Number 11, it's okay to say no. You do not owe anyone anything. Growing up, I've always had a really hard time saying no. I want to say yes to everything. I don't want to let anyone down. But if you want to set boundaries and say no, then say no, and no one is going to judge you for it. And if they do, then that's not a person you're supposed to be around. Saying no is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just setting boundaries. Number 12, you cannot be successful overnight. I feel like this one relates to my small goals advice, but a lot of people, including myself, when you first graduate from college, it's super easy to compare yourself to other people. Why am I not working in this higher up position? Why am I still living at home? How come I'm not in this relationship? However, when I look at successful people, it usually takes them years and years and years to get to the point that they are at. So I like to remind myself that it's not realistic for success to happen overnight. Number 13 is success can come in many different forms. Okay, my camera just died, so unfortunately I have to film the rest of this on my phone, but let's just get back into the video. Ignore the quality. Success isn't always so black and white. To me, one day success could mean feeling like I was productive. I got some cleaning done, I went for a walk, and I hung out with a friend. It doesn't necessarily mean I made $1 million. Number 14 is don't compare yourself to others. I feel like a lot of my other lessons have all been connected to this one, but basically I've come to realize there's really no point in comparing my situation to others. Everyone has different battles that we don't always realize. Everyone has different forms of privilege as well. The only journey you can really know and understand is your own, so there is no point in comparing yourself where you are in life to someone else who's going through something completely different. Number 15 is similar to number 14. Don't compare yourself to the past you. I feel like we as humans spend a lot of our time looking at ourselves in the past and wishing we looked a certain way, we still acted a certain way. It's really easy for me to reminisce on college, for example, and miss having so many fun moments where I was really carefree and stress-free compared to now. Different points of our life, I feel like, serve different purposes. There is no way for me to go back to that past me because the present me has learned so much since then. Number 16, this also goes hand in hand with a lot of the other ones I've spoken about, is your life does not end after college, after school. I feel like a lot of people have this like quarter life crisis when they graduate, and it's just like, my life is over, I have to be responsible. Being in your 20s after college can still be a lot of fun. You still have a lot of things to learn. Your life is not going to end just because you are adulting. Number 17, people aren't thinking of you the way you think about yourself. I think it's really easy to get cringed out or embarrassed by yourself and wonder if people are judging you. If I say something in a weird way, it's really easy for me to think, oh, that person is judging me because I pronounce this incorrectly. But that is not something I ever would really think about when it comes to other people. So no one is really thinking about you the way you are thinking about yourself. Number 18, perception is not reality. I think with social media, it's super easy to assume everyone is out here living their best lives, but you are only seeing what someone is choosing to show you. Reality, I could be really sad and post something on Instagram and make it look like I'm having the most fun day. So that's something I try to keep in mind with other people as well. Number 19, prioritizing yourself can be a good thing. A lot of people want to make others happy, and sometimes that can cost us our own happiness. You know, it is not a bad thing to put yourself first sometimes. I try to remind myself of that one. Number 20 is you need to learn how to be alone. I know a lot of people don't like to be alone, and for a while I needed to be around people a lot. Like, I couldn't spend more than a day by myself, but I think it's really important to spend a lot of time alone. Take yourself out on dates, have a self-care night, be comfortable with yourself, and that can grow into confidence and a lot of independence and self-love as well. Number 21 is don't waste the present by thinking so much about the future. If you spend so much time in your day just thinking about the future and what's going to come of it, you are wasting the present. I look back on my senior year sometimes and I wish I didn't stress so much about finding a job and worrying about what job I was going to have when I get out of college, and just enjoyed my senior year. So that's something I'm trying to focus on now that I'm in my 20s, just enjoying my 20s and not overthinking about what my 30s and 40s and 50s are going to look like. Number 22 is happiness is a choice. Of course, there are a lot of factors in this one in regards to mental health. In a lot of ways, happiness is not a choice and it is a battle that many people have to deal with. However, I think when it comes to your day-to-day, you need to train yourself on how to choose your emotions. It is really easy for me to get stuck in a rut if I get annoyed by a small thing. I don't want to let it ruin my day, and I have to choose to move past it or choose to be in a happier mood and not to let certain things get to me. So in that way, happiness is a choice. Number 23 is happiness takes work. It is not easy to train your brain to spend most of your day being happy and focus on the positive. It's a lot easier to focus on the negatives. This is something I'm probably always going to be working on. Once again, it is really easy just to fixate on little small things that bother you and let it just ruin your day, but I am really focused on putting in the work to make myself happy. Lastly, number 24, work-life balance is everything. It's really hard to navigate being new into the working field. I've learned a lot from my first job post-grad that it is easy to think that work is life and just to focus all your time and energy and your emotions into your work. Although it might feel like work is everything, it really isn't. It is important to have a healthy balance. I currently feel like I have a lot more of a healthy work-life balance. I put the time and energy that I am supposed to into my work when I'm at work, and when I'm outside of work, I enjoy my hobbies. I spend time with friends and family, and I am a lot happier having an equal balance of social life, personal life, and my work life. So that's it. That was my 24 life lessons learned in my 24 years of life. Yay! I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was very chatty. I know I went on a few tangents. I am still learning a lot of life lessons, and I don't know the answers to everything, so take this video with a grain of salt. Let me know if you can relate to any of the things I've mentioned in this video. Anyways, I'll be back next week with a new video for you. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!